We spent some days in Athens, which was great. Finally got the tattoo that I've been planning for literally years. But look how swollen that is. After 12 nights in a marina and on land, back on the water. The Corinth Canal has been on my list of places that I want to go for a very long time. It has been, for some reason in my mind, going through the Corinth Canal is like an achievement to me. Before we get into this video, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell so that you get notified when a new video goes live. That whole area of Athens is not the most pleasant place to be on a sailboat, mainly just because of the heavy amounts of traffic on the water with the tankers and the amount of development on the land, right? So Athens is a big city, and so it has all of the negative qualities that a big city has with pollution and, negatively impacting the water around it. But what's amazing is just 18 miles away is Nissos Salamis. Sometimes if you're living in a city, you feel like the whole world is like this, and humans have completely destroyed nature and there is no beautiful places left. But sometimes there's some of the most beautiful places are just a stone's throw away from the most developed places. To get there, we sailed through the tanker anchorage field. I personally always enjoy going through a tanker anchorage field. You have to pay attention a lot because sometimes they're moving, sometimes they're not. You have to navigate around them. But I like sailing through those because you get to get like really up close to them and check them all out. Those big ships are amazing. They're amazing. You wonder, how does this thing float? How is that even possible that humans have figured out how to build this giant thing and then send it all the way across the world, carrying goods and then connecting the global economy? To go from Athens, which is quite highly developed, through the tanker field, which is quite highly developed, to Salamis, to be just outside of that. I like that juxtaposition of being in Athens, being in a marina in Athens, and then doing a 3 or 4 hour sail, and then feeling completely isolated in an absolutely beautiful location. The next day, the weather was good, and we were able to sail to the canal. We were originally thinking we'll sail to the canal, anchor outside of the canal, and then cross it in the morning. Or if we can do it tonight, that'd be fantastic. But, we'll just kind of take it as it is. We're sailing over there, and the wind's kind of coming in a way that we can sail like 70% of it, and then we'll have to motor the last 30%, and that's to be expected, but it's not a particularly long distance anyway. So we're sailing along, and it's really good sailing. Relatively flat seas because that whole area is just not very large, right? There's a land mass, mainland Greece, that is only a few miles north of us, and then the wind's blowing like 15, 20 knots. You get that strength of the wind without the inconvenience of big seas. As you're approaching the Corinth Canal, there is a whole communications procedure that you have to follow, radioing in at specific distances, letting them know that you're approaching and that you're wanting to cross. Canal office, this is sailing vessel Arianrhod, do you copy? Because it is a high traffic area and big tankers there are not very maneuverable, and so they need to be very aware of what's happening. Calling the canal office, do you copy? Hello, do you speak English? She told us, go to the north side, hang out in the bay, and then we'll tell you when you can come in. And so I was like, oh, okay, we'll just anchor and wait and see what happens. And she only told me that because there was a tanker in the canal at the moment. We docked, which is not a particularly nice dock. It's a rough one built for ships, not for sailboats. So that's important to know if you're taking a sailboat there. Have as many fenders out as you possibly can. Got the boat documents, now I just go to the office. We should be able to go through 3.5 miles through the canal and then in Corinth. All good. 178 euros. Stand by channel 11, and then we'll go through.
You can go.
Okay, thank you. They started attempting to build this canal in the 7th century BC. It was so difficult, it wasn't until the late 1800s that they actually got it done. You know, some of that is obviously financial issues, but like, we don't think about how long it took to develop some things. Almost 3,000 years ago is when they first came up, hey, let's go ahead and connect these two bodies of water. And it was just failed attempt after failed attempt after failed attempt. It's really odd to think about how similar everything was back then, because technology has made life so different now than it was then. But they were living on the same planet with pretty much the same weather and the same geography. As humans, we do have such a long history of innovation, knowledge to build on and to work with. We're able to figure out things that if you gave one person a whole lifetime to develop all the technology to do something like build the canal, there's zero chance of it happening. You can only do that because we have the technology that our ancestors built for us. Which, I don't know if people think about that very often, of the only reason we have any of this stuff is because our ancestors, all the people that came before us, did it for us. It's the only reason we have these things. And the only reason that we can develop some of the amazing technologies that we have is because our ancestors laid the path and the foundation for us. We really are standing on the shoulders of giants. It's only because of the humans that came before us that we're really able to do anything. Docked on this side of the harbor, the far side. Corinth is over there. We're on the northern side because the wind was coming from the north, so it was blowing us off the dock. This dock though it's like an industrial dock, so it's made for big ships. Since it was blowing us off the dock, it was kind of seemed like the best spot to be, and the wind was predicted to come from the north and then die in the middle of the night. And around 11, the wind switched and started blowing us onto the dock, and the tide dropped. We have another ding in the rail. Now that it's calm, it's the next day, it's calm, there's no waves or anything like that. This harbor is not well protected, by the way. Lots and lots of waves and swell, even though we're on the leeward side. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend staying really in Corinth with a sailboat if there's any type of weather. But we're gonna go over to the town of Corinth for the day and then leave tomorrow.